نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما التوبة على الله للذين يعملون السوء بجهالة ثم يتوبون من قريب فأولئك يتوب الله عليهم وكان الله عليما حكيما بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب يسر ولا تعسر وكرم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم الأمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, it's a great blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given me and you the ability and tawfiq to participate in this gathering. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering a source of guidance for all of us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering one of the means of our entry into Jannah. Tonight, inshallah, the 17th ayah of Surah An-Nisa. And in this ayah, I want to share with you something about returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turning back to us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this ayah, إِنَّمَا التَّوْبَةُ real tawbah, a true tawbah, a genuine kind of tawbah can only take place if the following thing happens. The word innama in Arabic language is used for exclusivity. When you want to talk about something that is exclusive, then you start the words with the word innama. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that when you think about repentance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you think about returning back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can only return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the following terms. This is the benefit of the word innama, and the verse begins with the word innama. So Allah says, innama tawbah, the real tawbah, the tawbah ala Allah lillah, the tawbah which make wajib upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it. See, Allah is our khaliq. Allah is our creator. There is nothing wajib upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever Allah wants, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, Allah does. If He wants to punish us, He will punish us. We cannot question His authority. If He wants to give to us, if He wants to give us His blessings, then He will give us His blessings. We have no authority to question Allah. But Allah is, this ayah is saying, إِنَّمَا التَّوْبَةُ, there is a kind of tawbah. When you make that kind of tawbah, عَلَى اللَّهِ لِلَّذِينَ, it's mandated upon me. It's wajib upon me to accept your tawbah. But your tawbah has to fulfill these following conditions. What are these following conditions? Let's understand it. But if your tawbah fulfills these conditions, then Allah will definitely accept your tawbah. Allah for sure will accept. This is a guarantee. عَلَى اللَّهِ. Allah says it's wajib upon me. It's first upon me that I accept your tawbah. So what are those conditions? Allah says, tawbah is for those people الَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ السُّوء, who did something bad, who did something evil, disgusting, despicable. All of these are within the range of the word su. People who did something terrible, something evil, disgusting, despicable. What did they do such kind of thing? Allah says bijahala, out of their jahala. They did something really, really bad, but they did something out of overwhelming emotion. Maybe because of their anger, maybe because of their temptation, maybe because of their desire, maybe because of their stress, maybe because of depression. Some emotion took them and they got overwhelmed and they acted it out. In that sense, they did an act, they commit a sin. This is what we call jahala. So maybe your laziness, my laziness, is a kind of jahala when one time I couldn't wake up for Fajr namaz. Maybe my anger is a form of jahala when one time I raised my voice at my father. Maybe my temptation is a form of jahala when one time I refuse to change the channel when I see something inappropriate on the channel. All of these things are different expressions of jahala. Do we understand this now? Alhamdulillah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that tawbah is only acceptable for those people who did something really evil, something disgusting, out of overwhelming emotion. And by the way, su here is singular. Su means sin, evil. They commit a sin. They are not committing sins and sins and sins and sins out of ignorance and then they do something like this. No. Allah says they commit a sin out of their ignorance, out of their jahalat, ثُمَّ يَتُوبُونَ مِنْ قَرِيبٍ. Immediately they commit sins, after that they go and turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They commit a sin. It's not like you are committing a series of sins and then you turn back. They commit a sin and then immediately they go and turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, when we commit a sin, we feel bad. We feel angry at ourselves. We feel disgusting. And when we commit a sin, we say to ourselves, you know man, I'm really messed up. There's no point in making Taubah to Allah. There's no point in repenting to Allah. I'm not even in a place to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I feel so disgusting. I'm so embarrassed. I can't even talk to Allah. Allah says this is not the real Taubah. The real Taubah is that you make a conscious decision that you are not going to violate the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purposely, consciously, as your lifestyle choice. You make this decision consciously. And after making this decision, it doesn't mean that you will become an angel. You will still commit a sin. Once in a while, you will still commit a sin. But as soon as you commit a sin, you catch yourself. You realize your sin. You acknowledge your sin. The problem with all of us is that we are committing sins and we don't even realize it. We actually justify our sins. Allah says, no. You commit a sin, you catch yourself, you turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, فَأُولَٰئِكَ يَتُوبُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. These are the real people of Tawbah. These are the people that I will accept their Tawbah. There is a very important thing for all of us here. For all of us. We are always going to need Tawbah. We will never be free from Tawbah because we will never be free from sins. Right or wrong? We will never be free from sins. So we will never be free from Tawbah. There is always going to be a thing that is so embarrassing that we have done that we are not proud of. But the idea is to realize your sin, to catch your sin, and immediately turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, avoiding sin is almost impossible. It's almost, you can fight it for so long. But then one sin or other, it will make its way into your life and you will commit a sin. Kullu bani Adam khata'un. They are going to commit sins over and over and over again. With a believer, when something bad happens, when a mishap happens, when something when a flaw happens, a believer is someone that immediately he catches himself. Immediately he realizes his mistake, he turns back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he asks Allah to forgive. Allah says these are the real people of Tawbah. And finally Allah says, وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا. Allah is all knowledgeable and Allah is all wise. Allah knows where you stand. Allah knows. You know, when someone does something bad and he feels guilty and he comes and stands before a judge, then he makes a case for himself. You know, he can play on the emotion of the judge. He can say to the judge, you don't really know the facts. I know the facts. He can do all this kind of stuff. He can dodge a judge. Allah says, I already have all the facts. You cannot make any case in front of me. I know where you stand. Hakima, I'm the most wise. You are never going to build an argument that is more wiser than me. I'm wise enough. I know what kind of Tawbah you are doing and I know if your Tawbah is worthy of acceptance or not. The month of Ramadan is coming. I've chosen this ayah for a reason. The month of Ramadan is coming. And in the month of Ramadan, we make Tawbah all the time. But the reason I'm sharing this ayah with you is that I want to make dua to Allah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a habit in all of us that we make Tawbah every single day. Consciously, regularly and daily. We make Tawbah to Allah. We realize our sins. Prophet ﷺ taught his Sahaba something that I want to share with you. It's mentioned in Zadul Talibin. Zadul Talibin is a small book of hadith. And you can find it from anywhere. It's a small book of hadith for the kids. And in that book, Prophet ﷺ taught his Sahaba that after Asr Salah, if you say Astaghfirullah sincerely, thinking about your sins, regretting about your sins, and you're embarrassed about your sin, if you make Tawbah or say Astaghfirullah 70 times, Allah will forgive 700 sins that you commit on that day. So we make this habit. Prophet ﷺ is teaching his Sahaba. We make this habit. And we don't only do Tawbah when we come to the masjid and we see other people making Tawbah. We do Tawbah when we are driving and we see something inappropriate. We see something that we are not supposed to see. When we hear something that we are not supposed to hear. When we indulge ourselves in conversation that we are not supposed to indulge. When we say something accidentally without realizing something bad about our brothers, about our sisters,
about our family members. We mention them in conversations behind their back. And then we realize that it is a backbiting. SubhanAllah, this is a topic in itself. And when we realize that we did something like this, we ask Allah to forgive us because it is a backbiting. You know, we people, I don't know about other people, so no offense to anyone. And I'm from that community. I'm from Pakistan. And mashallah, most of the people who are sitting here, they all are from Pakistan. Originally, they all are from Pakistan. We have every excuse to backbite. We have all the excuses to backbite. You know, so some people will come and they say things about brother, and you say to them, Bhaiya, backbite, brother, you're backbiting. And they will say that, I can say it to his face. I can say all of these things to his face. Then bhai, why don't you go and say it to his face? Why are you telling me? Why are you talking behind his back? Just because you think that you can say it to his face doesn't mean that it is not a backbiting anymore. And then there are some people who are more genius. They are more talented. So they will start talking about someone and they will pretend that they don't even know that they are backbiting. So they will stop in the middle of their conversation. They will say, was I backbiting? Was I backbiting? And if it was backbiting, then I will stop. What do you mean it was backbiting or not? Do you see that brother that you are talking about? No, I want to know from fiqh perspective. I want to know from fiqh point of view. Was it backbiting or not? There is no excuse of backbiting. Backbiting is backbiting, and subhanAllah, now it takes place in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا. Do you like to eat the flesh of your dead brother? Do you like it? A scholar who was not like me, like Bursa always tells me, there was a scholar who invited some people to his home for feast, for da'wah. I never invite you brothers, but there was a scholar, long time ago, good scholar. He invited some people to his home and he brought bread for them. And then afterwards he went away to bring meat for them. And while he was away, these people, because they were there, they started talking. And they started backbiting. The scholar overheard this. And he wanted to teach them a lesson indirectly. So he came back to them and he said, you know, before, people used to eat bread before they would eat meat. Today, mashallah, you have started with the meat. Before, people used to eat bread before they would eat the meat. But today, mashallah, you all are starting with the meat. Indirectly, he is telling them, you have already started backbiting, so you are eating the dead flesh of your dead brother. That's what you are doing. Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayh, a mashhur muhaddith, a very famous muhaddith, Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayh. Once someone came to Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayh and he says to Sufyan Thawri, you know, I've never seen Imam Abu Hanifa backbiting. Never once I've seen Imam Abu Hanifa backbiting. And Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayh, he said, Imam Abu Hanifa is too intelligent to let anyone go away with his sins. When you backbite, then what happens? That person will take from you. Sorry, I think I said it wrong. He said he is too intelligent to let anyone go away with his good deeds. When you backbite, then what happens? He will take from you good deeds on the day of judgment. That's what will happen. Let me give you a tip. If you hate someone, a guy is nasty, and you really hate that guy, never backbite about it. Never backbite him. You know, if a guy that you really, really hate, he comes to you and he asks you, can I use your laptop? Can I use your iPad? You know, can I use the most valuable thing that you have? What are you going to say to him? No, because you hate him. Then how come you are giving him the most valuable things that you possess, your good deeds? This is our normal practice. We sometimes hate people and then we start backbiting them. When you backbite them, you will give them your deeds. Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayh, this is the last story by the way, then I finish inshallah. Somebody came to Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayh and he said, you know, I saw a group of people backbiting you. You know, I saw a group of people, they were saying bad things about you. And Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayh, what did he do? You should do the same next time, inshallah. I should do the same and you should do the same next time. What did he do? He sent a ball of dates to that group of people with a note. And he said to them, on the note he said that it has come into my notice that you were giving me your good deeds. And I didn't have anything to say thanks to you except this bowl of dates. So please accept it from me. But next time, you do it like this, inshallah. I will do it like this. If anyone badmouth you, if anyone say anything bad about you, send him a box of chocolate. Tell him, thank you very much for giving me your good deeds. You're going to destroy that person. What will he say to you? What will he say to you? My biggest, and it's a very humble request to all of you brothers. My biggest request to all of you, like we said, that we all are going to make mistakes. None of us is perfect, but we need to keep reminding each other. Especially in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It hurts me, and it hurts me the most that namaz is about to begin. Salah is about to begin. And in our masjid, there is a group of people sitting. Sometimes I'm the part of that group. I'm not saying I'm an exception. Sometimes I'm a part of that group. There's a group of people sitting in the masjid backbiting. In the house of Allah before they begin their salah. What kind of salah are we going to read? So I sincerely make dua to, without realizing that we do something, we can do something like this. But without realizing when we do it, later on when we realize it, we are not one of those people who say, no, it was not backbiting. We are one of those people who realize it and who say, yes, it was backbiting, so I should go back to Allah. I should make tawbah. This is the whole point of the dua, of the ayah that we learned today. We will make sins, but the true tawbah is a person who commits sins out of jahala, out of ignorance, then he turns back to Allah and he realizes his mistakes. He catches himself and he turns back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the gift of tawbah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our tawbahs. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability and tawfiq that we do tawbah every single day. Not just for ourselves, for our family members, for the ummah, even for the people who we don't like. Even for the people who disappoint us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us united in this dunya. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reunite us in the hereafter. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.